Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I have not streamed in like 2 months. It happens, okay? But okay, so like Stanley Parable came out back in the day. It was pretty good. And then like they just released like a remaster slash DLC thing in Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe because like it is also a remaster, but like they also put in like a whole game's worth of content apparently, so that's cool. I haven't played the original in like 5 years. I should probably get the achievement for not playing the game in 5 years. I'm assuming, I'm hoping it would work. I don't know. I actually reinstalled the game. I should probably get that achievement at some point during these. Yeah, like honestly, I haven't played in like 5 years. I don't remember most of it. Now there's a bunch of other new stuff in here, so that's cool. I only booted up Ultra Deluxe to like change some settings and stuff. Uh, okay, yeah, I did this last time. For some reason, it's just like put in the current time, but it's like, my dude, can you not just get the system clock for my computer? What? Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times you put up the game. Oh my god. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. But you're actually taking the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of showing if the times you're setting me are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see the screen, just set the clock to your favorite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. I'll let you get back to the. I'll get you back. Let you get back to the video game now. Okay, this. No. I've played this game before. This is part of the game. It has to be. Alright. Okay, so... No way. I gotta do this. Next time, set it to your favorite time. Uh... 4:20. 4:20. Your favorite time of day. Oh my god. Or could you simply not resist giving me the correct time again? After all, I know how much you enjoy setting the time correctly. Okay, now I'm curious how accurate 4:20 p.m. is. Let's use another slider to find out. Extremely inaccurate. Can I just say, regardless of the accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. I feel like I'm learning more about you and how you like things to be set. It's good to collect data. I don't know, hitting the follow button would be a pretty good way to collect data. Or like, subscribe or whatever. That'd be cool. I wish we had more sliders, but we've gone through all the sliders I have. Perhaps I can invent some new sliders to gather new data on you. Shouldn't be too hard. Yeah, let me whip a couple new ones up. Should be ready the next time you boot the game. Oh my god, this is incredible. I haven't even started playing the game yet. And it's like, wow, okay. This is amazing. This didn't show up again last time. Please adjust the slider until the dog and cat are friends. Please adjust the slider until number 5 becomes the number 9. There's Roman numeral 9. There's 9. 9. I'm assuming that one. Please adjust the slider until you stop adjusting the slider. Sure. Which of the 2 made-up words below is most appealing to you? Ookaboinkle Scrumptish. Yeah, no, I'm going with Scrumptish. Please don't adjust the slider. Okay. You know what time it is right now? Yes. Is the time that it is right now the correct time? Probably. What time is it anyway? Yes. Is there anything about yourself you haven't told me? Yeah? Help. Oh my god. Oh, that's the thumbnail. That is absolutely the thumbnail. Help. God, do I even press yes? Because I want to press no. You know what? Sure, let's go yes. Yeah, I'll come back to visit. Okay, I gotta see the end of this arc. Like, honestly, the first time they asked you for the time, I automatically assumed it was for getting the don't play the game in 10 years achievement. What time is it? Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. Oh, God. This game's getting real already. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all your game settings to your exact specifications, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. I still don't really know you, and you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. It is 7:14 p.m. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. Won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. Interesting that you say this when I'm streaming this to the whole none to see. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I really learned about you. Well, it's time for me to go. Still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little more time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again, if you can find me. Talk soon. Alright, you know I gotta reset him one more time. I've been playing this game for like almost 10 minutes, and I haven't even played the game yet. Oh man, this is wonderful. Oh no, it's over. Oh man. That's disappointing. Also, one really annoying thing about this game. Wow, I did not look at any of these settings. Okay, here's the result. What? That was so weird. Like, earlier, I couldn't... Like, it was just resolution. Like, I don't know, it was something weird. I couldn't change it before. Okay, here we go. That looks much better. It was super weird. It just displayed, like, res, X res. It was super weird. I maybe changed the field of view at one point, but... Oh, dude, you can hold left and right. You can hold the mouse buttons to walk. That is amazing. Let's go. Alright, anyway, let's actually play the video game now. The end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
The one cutscene in the game.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh my god. I can play the video game now. Okay, like, I swear, there's like one ending if you just don't do anything and just stay in here. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know, something about 73 just speaks to me. Like, field of view was. Is there anything else interesting in here? Oh, you have to press both mouse. You have to press both mouse. Both. Bleh. I can't speak today. Apparently, you have to press both mouse buttons to move forward. That's weird. Like the auto move thing. Okay, please activate so that I don't feel crazy. I swear this is a thing. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's like if you don't move at all. I don't know. I hope it's that you just stay in the room. I don't remember how long you have to stay in here. So, yeah, cool. Okay, so this has been a complete waste of time. Let's pretend that didn't happen.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, this has to still be here. I forget how to do it. Who farted? Wait. Wait. Haha. Here it is. I think. Nah. Oh, and also... Okay. Yeah, here we go. The best ending.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be?
Sure.
Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Yeah, I gotta love the white void.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
I mean, yeah.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit.
But I gotta see the rest of the dialogue.
These points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly.
I swear this is
But
new.
the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
What? Alright, is there anything else? There has to be more to this. They gotta drive this joke into the ground, right? That has to be a thing. At the very least, this scene's probably amazing for video compression. An extremely high quality widescreen. Alright, let's just start over.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
I'm done with that
Stanley
joke.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Also, apparently this game was remade in Unity, so that's cool, instead of Source. It's like this was originally a Half-Life 2 mod that they made into a standalone game. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I imagine this game wasn't very complicated under the hood. You just kind of walk around.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So for this first one, I'm gonna do the vanilla ending. Just do everything the narrator says.
Yet there was not a single person here.
Tips for not getting fired.
Feeling a wave of
Talk
disbelief,
less.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Pull up inside you. Take it out passive aggressive on other coworkers. Respect coworkers for not supporting you more. What do people want? Things. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Monetize free to play. Oh god. Number of slides on this slide. Here it is, boys.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
This is the best part of the game.
Here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
That means a bad word.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right?
That's the best
If
part.
I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
That's the best part about the broom closet.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path.
Yes.
Maybe when you go talk about this with your friend, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Yo, you guys find this concerning? I think it's completely normal.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
We're making our own Stanley parable with blackjack and hookers.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead.
Game theory be
Got
like.
to his broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological...
Unfortunately for you, I'm wearing headphones.
It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Is that it? I think that's it. That's disappointing. There's gotta be more. This is the Ultra Deluxe version, you know? You know? Gotta make the broom closet into a full ending. That's what you do in sequels. Bigger is better, you know? Bigger and better. What I meant to say. Anyway, I think that's it.
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Can't believe we're dead.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Executive bathroom. I get the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. Say, that's a lovely purse. What? Extreme bathroom? What is this building? There's just... They couldn't make the mirror work. That's disappointing. This is a nice wall, though.
Stepping into his manager's office,
a
Stanley was
large
once again
office.
stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Okay, cool. I actually got that
Simply
right.
pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh, hey, look. There's the icon of the original one. This is very dark. Like, literally. Oh boy, a loading screen.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this
Oh
now,
no, I don't want to
when for
think.
years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through
Mind
the
control
large door
facility.
that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape. Nah, sounds too good to be true.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
What
Did he
horrible
have the
secret did this
strength
place
to
hold?
find out?
Imagine someone mods the game to just be a bunch of, like, never gonna give you up.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
69.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's
Imagine
co-workers,
being worker
the
number
lives
69.
Of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Where's 127? Wait. Did I read that right? Did it say Stanley was fired? Oh no. Okay. That I looked at the wrong one. Wait, why is Stanley's just a desk? I don't know, whatever. Well, desk. Well, it is a desk. Like his was just a filing cabinet for whatever reason.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Sounds dramatic.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't
Private
accept
employee,
it.
what?
His own
Pirate.
life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls
Saddest
labeled with
offline.
emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
What's this? This looks interesting. Is this nothing? That's disappointing. 5. I don't know. Oh, what does that say? I don't know. Mind control system. Something.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Blackness.
Ominous.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Was it over?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
I thought this was Skyrim. I swear to God. Todd Howard, you've done it again.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Man, we beat the game in 20 minutes. It's been fun. Take care, everyone. Nah. Yeah, no, that was just one ending. Just a bunch of endings.
Gone. What could it mean?
Alright, so...
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, like... I know for a fact there's at least 2 split paths down there, so...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Alright, so we're gonna do the other ending right at the end. We're gonna see what happens when you, like, press the off button instead.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs.
I think he actually gets mad if you do this too quickly. It's like, hey, let me talk, please.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned
I don't even
to
remember what it was
discover
again.
not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody.
Please tell me the
He began
code.
wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings.
What?
Desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact,
Man, there's
this
just a
keypad
texture,
guarded the
literally
terrible
unplayable.
secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yeah, we're going.
He
Okay, there's no actual, like, quick saving. That's unfortunate. Oh well. Although, luckily, if you know what you're doing, you can get through, like, anything in this game, like, insanely quickly. So, whatever, it's not a big deal. Go. Go, Stanley, move faster.
The lights rose on an enormous room.
Open the door.
Screens. What horrible secret
Stop
did
having
this
it be
place
close.
hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yeah, probably. Let's go. Wait, did I have to press this button? Okay, I had to press this button.
The monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building.
Go.
Stanley's co-workers.
Open.
The lives of so many individuals
command you.
reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley,
Behold.
one of them,
Progress.
eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Open the elevator.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable,
Sure.
wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Look, man, I don't know. Let's just
But
keep.
here was the proof.
Let's just
the heart
go.
of the operation. Controls
wait.
labeled with
What's
emotion.
this?
Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded.
Wait, how
from this
do I open this?
And as the cold reality
That's a
of
button.
his past began to sink in,
That is a button.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power
Oh my
over
God.
another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and
Where is the
for
3? I had to find the 3rd button. Wait, what's this? No. This has to be something. Where is button number 3? Is that a button? That's not a button. That is a button. 3. Oh, does that say 4? Oh no, it would have been amazing if it said 4. I know 5's over there. Is this a social experiment? Like, what if they just pressed all the buttons in the order? Wouldn't that be fun? How many people would actually do that? Like, you'd have to be an idiot for doing this. It doesn't do anything. But what if they did? Let's see how many people do it. As a joke. Where is button 4? This has to be something. I know it has to be something. There's a button up there. Oh, although honestly, this is actually like pretty good game design. Like, I noticed this earlier. I was just looking around. It's like, wait, what's that? Is that a button? Oh, there's other buttons? What? And they all have numbers on them. I don't know, it's cool. Assuming this actually is something, which it very well couldn't. It might be nothing, knowing this game. But I gotta know. There's no way there's no way that isn't 4. You know what if I just pressed 5? Maybe that would be neat. No. Didn't do anything. Figured. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, you know? It's dog-eat-dog world in this Stanley parable. Where'd 3 go? 3. 3! Out of pure desperation, I'm gonna hit the 5. I'm going insane. No way. That says 4. Oh my god. How do I get up there? How do I open this door? Is there no way in? Is there another way in? There could be another way in. Is there another button? Console disabled. Cool. Alright, I guess we're pressing the on switch. Maybe I'll come back to this later. That has to be something, though. Wait. Is there a switch? No? Cool. Alright, we'll just press the on button then. Wait, what does that say? I can't read it from this angle. Something this... I think something says... I can't tell if that's... There's something on there that says either type ID or typo. I can't tell.
And when at last he found the sword... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Oh my god.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Fun.
How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it.
Oh,
Mere
no way.
moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you.
No way.
About me. Where we're going. What all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness,
What?
only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
No, the buttons
These are
didn't mean
precious
anything.
Additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or
Or
what you're supposed
did
to
the-
be doing right now?
What?
Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off?
Oh, that's mean.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red
Oh
button.
my God.
Or this door. Everything, anything.
It was
something
all a
here will
ruse.
save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? that this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
Failsafe.
Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
God, that is such a
Take a
trailer
look at the clock,
quote.
Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Man. That was something. Alright, let's
All of his
escape
coworkers
instead.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content. Sure.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Oh, he sounds a little older. Pretty sure this is new to Ultra Deluxe. Is this Half-Life now?
Hello, and thank you for playing the
Yep, this is
Stanley
new.
Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers.
Oh good, they explained this so I don't have to.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022
Game
with the
Factory.
Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable.
There was a world to
delighting
this game?
audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
I was waiting to just
Oh, well, this
just
sounds
run into that
delightful.
wall.
I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Sure. Don't tell me this is literally just
Is it
just
broken?
a
What's going on here?
room that doesn't
Should we-
move.
Should we be moving somewhere? Or,
Oh, there it goes.
There we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
It's just gonna be an endless
I have to
elevator.
say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Give me the content.
All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Hold on. Oh, they gave you the ability to jump? Oh, only in the circle, though. At least it makes a satisfying noise. Oh, you can't move outside the circle when you're jumping. Disappointing. That's it. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
Honestly, I'll
If this is new
take it.
content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
What? I don't know what it is about these blinds, but they're really throwing me off. Like, that's so weird. Like, why would you put blinds over top of, like, this endless pit, and there's, like, this random chair? What? And, like, the lights don't even work. This is a beautiful mess. Thank you for enjoying the new content.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan
I paid
base
$17
rush a cheap
for this.
expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated.
Okay, hold on. Do one of the achievements actually say that? It has to. Oh my god. Oh my god. It actually does.
Infuriated, and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley.
I'm calling them out on
I
my
built up
Twitter.com.
Too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills.
What is it
No
about?
gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
No. Oh. Well, here's more. That is a picture. Like, I kind of love how they just randomly put in the door that just says
Come
new
over here.
content.
In the vent. I want to show you something.
Hold on, is there something up here? I don't know, I don't trust you all of a sudden. I'm gonna go this way.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made
Oh
for
my
you? Well,
God.
fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
Oh my, I thought it was just a dead end.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be something interesting.
Yet
This
there
is
was
literally
no
just the
single
regular
person
game
there
again.
either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Come on.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, we're gonna escape then.
The moment he entered
was
his
it
manager's
2487?
office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half
This is
moans,
new.
half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the
Okay, I actually
boss's
kind of
desk.
like how there's different
What could
dialogue
it
every
mean?
time.
Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct
swear,
code by sheer
was it
luck.
different?
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I'm pretty sure it's different. God, the weird. I can't even tell if this is new or not. Like, is this part of the game? I went through the new content door. Is that a thing? I doubt it, but like.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large
Who am I
door
saying I
that
doubt
read
it? Like, this
Mind
could be
Control
part of the
Facility.
game, honestly.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, fun.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Alright, time to walk toward death.
At this point,
Sounds
Stanley
fun.
was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Death. Let's go. Finally. I don't remember this part in Portal. Where am I?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
The killer is... Huh?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Okay. What? Is there anything back here? I can't tell. It's too dark.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
What?
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every place you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
What?
Do you see now?
Nature
Do you see
beat.
that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Again, game theory be like... There's just like a thing telling you like, hey, our game is good. Wouldn't you agree? Unfortunately, I can't type into it. Three doors. Button sounds. Selection of sounds plays throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Okay. Oh yeah, there's solitaire. Oh my god. Are these the actual credits? Because that would be amazing. I think these are the actual credits. We did it. We beat the game. Again. Oh my, this is oddly detailed.
Stood on the snow.
Narration outtakes.
Where his co-workers. Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible? Then he pushed the number 4.
Okay, that's trippy. Oh yeah, we haven't seen that one yet. Oh wait, no. That's a different one. I was thinking of a different one. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom, above and count down below. We banned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the two endings together instead. Yeah, sure. Oh. Oh yeah, that's it. Off. It's just a power switch for the game. The strength of this level got William higher to design of the full game, though much of the environment has changed. The basic layout from the mock-up is still in the game. Oh, neato. Definitely looks a lot more sterile. Oh my god. The evolution of Stanley's office. The lounge. The office. The apartment timer. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. We haven't seen that yet. There's this cargo lift. Spoilers, kind of. I'm sure we'll get to all this stuff at some point. The meeting room. Oh, this is actually like a kind of... This is actually like kind of telling you different ways to play, do stuff. Wait, event? What do you mean event? Oh, there's like different versions of like the layout. Neat. Zending levers. The Zending? What do you mean the Zending? The Zending. Screenshot depicts an early version of the ending known as the Zending, which is eventually cut and merged with another part of the game. I don't know what that's about. The Zending model. Oh my god. The escape menu. For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Fortunately, very few players realized that's what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. Yeah, it's kind of cryptic, too. I don't know, it almost feels like a cop-out, like, the game doesn't end until you say it ends, or something, I don't know. You could have just turned the game off, man. Seems like a cop-out. We ran 4 major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something about the spirit of the game. This is the first one, released in May 2012. It features a series of broken rooms and the voice of the narrator, informing viewers that he is preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. Oh yeah, like even with Ultra Deluxe, the marketing was kind of weird. Like there's like, guys, sorry, we have to delay Ultra Deluxe. And most people didn't know it existed. There was like, wait, what? What do you mean Ultra Deluxe? I was one of them. Honest to God, I'm almost I'm half convinced that's how they announced the game. I haven't looked up how. I haven't looked up if that's true. Like, I'm half convinced that they just announced it via delay, so people wouldn't even get mad it was delayed. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator questions. While we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. So we literally put it right here. Please partner with me in a very rewarding business venture. Details will be sent soon if you're interested. Tree is important, not spam. Hi, Mr. Narrator Guy. I have a question for you, sir. It is, what is your message for today? There's a skeleton inside of you. There are more skeletons in this world than humans. Thanks and goodbye. Am I Stanley? Are you spying on me? Why? Okay. These people sending some weird stuff. Will the game feature capybaras? Capybaras? What is that? I know that's some kind of animal. How do you stay in shape? Ah yes, the rock. Are you gay? Oh my god. Like, this game is amazing for out of context screenshots. Art needs a good censoring. How is it gonna be censored? Will you have infinite quests? How many endings? Is it really gonna only help shopping? I hope it'll have a fine selection of desert boots. How do you make a JRPG? How do you make the worst game ever? What is the difference between a duck? What? Between a duck and what? How's this game going? I hope it's good. I'm a cool man. Are you a rock? I don't know. That's a great question. Fun. The war zone. We designed an ending where Stanley would end up in a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone in the game. Plus, some people interpret it as making fun of people who like shooters, which is not our intention. Alien base. That's a nice bike. Ultra Deluxe announcements. This is new. December 2008, we announced the Ultra Deluxe version of the Stanley Parable of the Game Awards. There are screenshots of the videos we made for the announcement and game's delay. Was this game actually announced? Like, actually? Like, I thought they just, like, announced a delay without announcing the actual game first. There's, like... And then it's just like, wait, what do you mean delayed? This is a thing? Because it is absolutely something this game would do. Like, I didn't even question it. Most people didn't know most people didn't know Ultra Deluxe was coming out, and they're just like, huh? I already explained this, though.
Look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Off.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
What?
Listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
Oh my god.
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it.
Oh, look at that. They
just choose for you. Don't let
Look at that. They implemented it into something else. This is like a not ending. It's like, you can quit the game now. Okay, so I can actually do the other stuff. Alright, I'm gonna do that in a few minutes. I have to go to the bathroom first. Alright. I am back, and most likely better than ever. I hate Mondays. Alright, let's go in the vent this time.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
It's down here.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
Is this Elden Ring?
Take a look.
Okay, this is not Elden Ring.
I call it
Don't know
the
what it is,
memory
though.
zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release?
There's
Remember back in October of 2013,
there's a collector's
when the game
edition.
originally launched. Back then, video games had
forget.
integrity. Back then, it all meant
Oh,
something.
2013.
Oh, the waste.
Oh my god. They're using an old version of Firefox for the screenshot. Good times. They just put the freaking the Stanley Parable on there. I actually got an award. Good. Oh yeah, there was a demo that's like completely different from the regular game too. What's this dollar for? Is that the first dollar they made off the game? Honestly, I didn't know the game had music. Go outside, my beloved. Unachievable. Beta, work in progress. New video game releasing today. Creator surprisingly down to earth. 50% off designer hat. Team Fortress 2. Rest in peace. Although it's still pretty active. Culture so uneven effort to enroll poor. Costs hinder due tack to achieve diverse. I don't know what that means. What do you mean by tack? Like the power of juju? Or... This absolutely looks like a TF2 map, though. Even if the game's made in Unity now. Is this music? What? Loving memory, little Stanley. Don't know who that is. I didn't expect a lyrical track in this. What in the hell?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote,
Oh, dude.
"Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created."
Okay, I love how they had the narrator do an impression of them.
Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless
You know, I never thought that Stanley Parable would make a Persona reference, but here we are.
husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Fantastic arcade. What? Memory zone maintenance. What? The original remake. Is that what Stanley's supposed to look like? Who are these people? Oh my, is that pictures of the game in like the Hammer editor or whatever for Source? That is... Oh, they just blurred out the Apple logo. That's so weird they have to do that. Like, they literally put it on the device. Why do you have to take out the Apple logo? Like, it's literally on the device.
Here's another moving passage,
Source
this time from
SDK.
GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games,
carpet
and one
textures.
that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
What? How do I... Serious room. Oh my god. Okay, so this is a room where if you, like, messed around with, like, the console, it just, like, puts you in there. And it's like, you're not allowed to cheat. What do you think this is?
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before.
Oh my
What's
god,
this?
the
What's down
tricks.
here?
Oh, what is this?
Oh no! Oh, God, no!
Is this
Stanley,
Half-Life
the
3?
collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor.
God.
I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even.
Are these people actually going to put,
Imagine
like,
what's being collected
reviews
down
from the
here.
Steam store?
Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh, this is gonna be amazing.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny!
God, imagine
Trying to be
being
funny,
put...
trying to make a serious work of art.
Imagine
I
your
suppose I could
Steam
write up a
review
handful of
being
gags
put
to
into
insert
the
into
actual
Stanley
game.
Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Yeah, I know, again, this just looks like a TF2 map. Well, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they just reused a bunch of source props. Are they allowed to do that? They're probably allowed to do that.
Let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say?
Cookie 9.
You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable.
Going on?
That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
I mean, that's a reasonable quality of life improvement. What's this? There's literally nothing behind this. Unfortunate.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you with just the push of a button, Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer.
Oh no, where'd the door go?
Was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes?
Oh man, is this gonna be like Click?
Means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one.
Get me out of here.
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it, and I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child. Wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment. What does such an impulse serve? For whose benefit is this? And here I am now, stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button, and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all alone, and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening, if only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just yours.
This is getting oddly deep.
Exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it. Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, 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 I know you too well. You'll be leaving me. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews.
Aww.
Those reviews that I could...
It actually
Oh,
loops.
Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again.
How long has it
Stanley,
been?
I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing.
Okay, look.
Would you think
If I press this button again, will Xenoblade 3 be out?
Like what we've already been
That's the
doing?
real
Me
question.
Just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything.
About us?
I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place?
Yo, let's go play Xenoblade 3. It's probably DLC too.
It for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley.
Ooh, I'll have Splatoon 3 as well.
Months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest.
Is Breath of the Wild 2 out yet?
The past. And when that feeling had begun to subside,
Does Sonic Frontiers turn out to be good?
As the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation.
Honestly, I'm not even paying attention to what he's saying. Bye. Is the door there? No? Okay. Is the skip button broken? Or... Whoa. Oh. The narrator's not even there anymore. That's oddly terrifying. The what? The... Is that a bomb? I think it's coming from the skip button. Oh no, I think that's the fire alarm. Nah, whatever.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us.
What are you talking about?
Enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley parable. We demand it.
You know, is this a stab at people who want
because it was spoken, now
a pause button in Elden Ring? Because that is a reasonable complaint.
Every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm
I'm not
center of
mad,
gravity
just
around
disappointed.
which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes.
Yes.
They've been jealous of me this whole time. They are mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but attempt to
Anyway, bye. Again. Yeah, when he doesn't show up, oddly ominous. Wait a minute, this is the... Yeah, there's a little fade-in animation for the cursor. That's neat. Anyway.
The end is never the end.
Oh my god.
The end is never the end, 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 is never
Oh
the
my
end,
god.
is never the end, 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 is never the end.
Yeah, I wonder how long it's been. Has it been years? Well, I have Xenoblade 7 by now. What is going on? Oh, what happened here? Is that blood? That is blood. Huh. I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Oh. Ah, there's a hole in the roof. Well, oh, this is a certified Portal 2 moment. Is Stanley God? Wait. What do you mean is gone? Huh? Yeah, I didn't expect this to randomly turn to existential dread horror game. Oh, that is creepy. That is really creepy. Also, like, oddly alluring. I don't know how to describe it. Like, what's even making that noise? Dude, what? Oh. Can I even press the skip button again? No, it's broken completely. What the hell? Oh. Huh. What do you mean this isn't a desert? I thought it was like some weird port side thing. What? No sign of civilization at all. Okay then. It's been 3,000 years. What just happened? Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going like nothing happened.
all of his co-workers were gone.
That was
What could it mean?
really bizarre.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Even for this
Perhaps he had
game.
simply missed a memo.
New content. You know, we can come back to that.
When Stanley came to a set of two
All right,
open
let's
doors,
completely
this
ignore
was not
everything
the
he's
correct
saying.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Like, we need a breather after that thing.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
That's the best line in the game.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Indeed.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful. Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
Alright, cool, still there.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge
Absolute
first,
not following
just
his
to
directions
admire it.
ending. Completely.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've
what's
been
down there?
neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that
Danger
convinced that
everywhere.
I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
No.
Perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red... Oh, thank God you are willing to
Horrendous
listen to me.
subtitles.
Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution.
Oh no, we're going in
Here,
circles.
let me show you.
Oh boy. This'll be...
What do we want?
What?
What are we looking for?
This looks like that scene in The Incredibles.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
What? Man, these are some great drugs. Alright, so like, what is that? Ominous. What is this platform? Like some weird, the half UFO thing, I think. What is going on? Can I leave? I'm just gonna leave.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Anywhere but here. It's
Oh,
getting
no.
a little too weird for me.
Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Alright, only way forward.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Alley-oop.
No!
Oh, come on.
Oh, thank God. No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
You know, what if you actually went back to the other room?
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
This will make for a cool wallpaper, though. Oh, someone's gotta make this wallpaper engine. That would look really cool. Anyway. Let's die. Wouldn't that be fun?
No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're
Oh my
just
God,
getting
there's
a kick
one.
out of it.
There's still more.
I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Is it over? It's
No.
going to restart, isn't it?
The end is never the
I'm
end.
going back.
Oh, that was weird.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Huh.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Or do you after I do the absolutely
Stanley came to a
ignoring
set of
everything this
two
guy
open doors.
says?
This was not the
Ending
correct way to the
thing.
meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the
Sublime.
first open door on his left.
It's like a text editor.
Stanley was so bad at following
something.
directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley,
All right,
I
let's
think
actually
perhaps
go
we've
down
gotten
this
off
path.
on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for... This is it, Stanley.
What do you mean for
Your
her?
chance to redeem
Who's
yourself,
her?
to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Who do you
She's
mean
been
by
waiting.
her?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you
I
can
can't
truly
open the
place
door.
your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
No. How long do I have to wait? I am curious. Oh, can you you can't do anything else. Okay, cool.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
Oh yeah, this
Hold on,
one.
sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Oh.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? They want to commit their life to you.
Oh my
I'm
god.
trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Press P on your keyboard. No. Well, how hard could it be?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Oh. G.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what
I don't
he's
know why
told
G
to
is
do.
funny all of a sudden.
Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he
Where's the
imagined
TV?
that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss,
What?
everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Please press P to spend time with the boys. Oh my
So
god.
He went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Bleh.
he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Ah.
Down one path
Ah,
was an
well.
enormous round room with monitors and mind
Eh?
controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions.
Oh, we haven't done that
Down
one yet.
another was a game with a baby.
Or that one.
And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Tell your
It was
kids the
such a
story.
wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
I don't tell your wife you love her.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be?
Oh no.
In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Sleep.
And I'm trying to tell him this.
I
that
wish
in
it was
this
that
world,
easy.
he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself.
Oh.
He won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Oh.
you see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Press L to question nothing.
Not in the way I want him to.
Oh god.
I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button.
Oh, that's such a reaction image. Was that in the original? I don't know.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Alright, let's do the new
Stanley
content.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
It said new content. I definitely didn't remember the neon sign before.
See, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the
New
Stanley
content.
parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Collector's edition.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh my god.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover.
I can't tell if this is an actual game announcement or not.
New experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking
Investor
for.
showcase. Taste the sequel. Oh my god.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
I don't know,
But
man.
the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there.
I don't know, just the
It's
fact they're using the
future-oriented.
default Windows 10 photos thing is objectively hilarious.
It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Like, why do the Windows things, like the Windows photo thing, like, why does it take so long to open images? They're just images. Orphan View is a lot quicker. I'd rather use that. I just want to open images quickly. They're back. 2 tours. More TSP, better TSP. No, TSP is Stanley Parable. Sequential mind share. The color red, leverage, holistic value. I just have a freaking Google slide open. Thanks for attending my meeting. Written in Comic Sans. I don't know, just the fact that it's using Google Slides makes it funnier. I don't know why. Old and busted, new hotness. Cool red section of the chart. These are some neat glass doors.
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize
With the
a
red
handful of
marker,
interesting
me.
concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
I saw the investor showcase. Sequels are good. Portal 2, Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum 2, Divinity Original Sin 2, Doom 2, Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, Dark Souls 2. 2. I don't know, Devil May Cry 2 wasn't that great. 3 though, that's some good shit. New features. The reassurance bucket.
Try out some of the new
Dear God. The button that says the name of the player playing the game. Enjoy the new features. What is that guy? A whole new office. Red is the new orange. Ray traced update. Oh my god. Stanley Parable with ray tracing. I wouldn't even complain about that. Like, would this game even change with ray tracing? Merch. Okay, I gotta scan the QR code. Hold on. Give me a minute. Hey, the mic. StanleyParable2.com. Alright, hold on. Alright, I gotta show this. Welcome to the official website of the Stanley Parable 2. A sequel, huh? Oh my god. Hold on, is this video unlisted? That would make it... It is unlisted. That makes it a lot funnier. Oh, there he is. Alright.
See there, Timmy.
Hold on, I gotta say something on this. I don't know, like, really, how am I still surprised about this?
Hey, what's that you're
gotta
enjoying?
watch. It's only
Why?
40p.
It's breakfast, of course. Everyone loves breakfast. But did you know that breakfast is getting a sequel? That's right.
Breakfast is
It's
getting a
called
sequel.
Lunch. And critics are raving that lunch will be everything breakfast was and more. With a little luck, we may even get a trilogy series out of it.
When are we getting
Say,
sex
you know
too?
what a sequel is, don't you, Timmy? Why? Sequels are the world's way of clinging helplessly to the past. We all want more of the things we love, and we're all afraid of change. Which is
It
what
doesn't
makes
have
sequels
actual
so popular.
subtitles.
New ideas are dangerous to me.
New
And they
ideas
can
are
lead to
dangerous
early
to me.
aging. This eager-minded young thinker is just 29 years old. That's why we have sequels, to keep us couched in the familiar and the comfortable. Sequels are the bedrock of a healthy, functional society. And if you look around you, you'll find them everywhere you go. For instance, this man is developing a sequel to the automobile. which we'll call the vertical automobile. It's
Do you mean
useless,
plane?
impractical invention, and in 2 days' time, the man will be publicly stoned to death for his crimes against gravity.
Just
None of
crimes
the
against
sequels are heretical nonsense, however. Here's the man who invented breathing, which
The
is
man who
sequel to
invented
suffocating
breathing.
and dying a slow death. Even your parents are getting a sequel, Timmy. Their names are Rob and Jessica, and they'll be taking care of you once your original parents are sent back in time to fight a secret war for the government.
What?
Sequels can be very fashionable. This young woman is wearing 5 shirts at once, which is the sequel to wearing 4 shirts at once.
Why are you wearing
Look at
5
Becky
shirts?
over there, wearing only 2 shirts at once. Get with the times, Becky. In fact, there is only one
I'm only
single
wearing
thing in the
one
world
shirt.
that isn't a sequel. It's this. We don't know what it is or why it exists, but it's the prequel from which all sequels are derived. And just like everything else, the Stanley Parable is getting a sequel too. We all know, of course, that it was your favorite game as a child. Don't you remember those long, lazy afternoons you spent playing the Stanley Parable? Watching your precious youth fritter away hour after hour. We've all wasted our childhoods in one way or another, and you were fortunate enough to get to waste yours on the Stanley Parable. But the Stanley Parable came out years ago, and you're not a child anymore. You're a man, which is like
Debatable.
the sequel to a child. And as a man, you want manly things.
I
Like
swear,
taxes
this is
and
just
cheating at baseball.
like a
You
shit
need
post.
A man's video game, Timmy. And that's why the Stanley Parable 2 will be perfect for you. It's as manly as video games can get. And if you don't believe me, let's look at the burly hunk of a man who's responsible for the game. Huh, here he is, hard at work. His name is Gregory 8-Pack, and he's the cutting picture of raw, virile masculinity. Gregory is what we call the ideas guy, and he has the most important role on the team. The
Do you mean
ideas guy
Chad?
tirelessly comes up with
Alpha
interesting
male?
concepts and then hands them off to the rest of the developers for the relatively simple job of turning those concepts into reality. For example, he's the one who picked up the phone and declared, "Someone ought to make a sequel to the Stanley Parable." Good.
Wait, hold on. Let's thought of that. Let's look at the comments for a little bit. Truly a magnificent idea. Can't wait for Stanley Parable 2. Oh, I've just dedicated my life to gym to just get extra moving. Maybe it's a joke I don't get yet.
Go ahead and take the rest of the day off. With the hard part out of the way, work
I
on
mean,
the game can now begin.
I could take the
game's
rest of the day
developers
off, but
must
like,
answer a simple question. What
oh,
makes
got
a
like
sequel
3
in the
hours
first place?
left.
Well, it's simple. Sequels are an opportunity to correct the mistakes of their predecessors. We've all made mistakes, and we've all caused harm to someone we love in order to cover up our mistakes. When developing this particular sequel, it's important to start by thinking, what mistakes did the original Stanley Parable make? Well, first off, most of the pornography in the original game was
Pornography?
stolen or pirated, and it's time we paid the licensing fees fair and square. Second,
Man, guess I'm gonna
Stanley
get banned
Parable was
then.
catastrophic for this man named Leroy, whose personal information, including home address, social security number, and bank information, were all displayed prominently in multiple locations throughout the game. Although Leroy's money and identity were stolen, the fact remains that his personal information was the emotional core of the game, and absolutely vital to a nuanced understanding of the story.
What?
As reparation for the harm,
You know, I love how this
the
doesn't make
sequel
any
will
sense.
contain a brief and
What are you talking
insincere
about?
apology to Leroy, tucked deep within the game where it will be difficult to find. Finally, the Stanley Parable made the mistake of leaking too many government secrets about
What?
the nature of the Time Wars. Without these
What about our
details
Time
and
War?
specific military tactics, the story is likely to make very little sense. But we've decided to remove them from the
Understandable.
sequel in the interest of helping the state's efforts. We'll get to you yet, Time Dracula.
Time Dracula.
It's time to set about constructing the Stanley Parable 2.
Yo,
Game
dude, new
development is
Castlevania,
a
let's
difficult
go.
and complex art. One
Can we
which
get a
can only be fully
Castlevania too?
understood by this race
That
of
certainly wasn't made.
hyper-intelligent child soldiers bred in laboratories. They begin by studying the original Stanley Parable. Here it is in its raw, untouched form, a specimen of technological perfection. Time to exploit it for profit. We begin by adding jokes. The Stanley Parable was most widely known for its stark lack of humor.
Oh, wait, I came up with a much better comment. Yep, there we go. Someone else might have already said that. Oh well, I don't care.
Bucking all conventional industry wisdom, it was a bold artist statement that its developers stood firmly behind. But in 2022, it's impossible to reach even a single consumer of video games without jokes of some kind. So very well, jokes it'll be.
Jokes.
During its development, over 500 kiloliters of comedy will be funneled directly into the core of the Stanley Parable 2.
How does one
creating
measure
jobs for hundreds of
comedy in
machine
kilometers?
operators and producing 30,000 tons of pollutant chemical byproduct, which will be pumped directly into local lakes, rivers, and beautiful nature reserves like these all over the country.
Wait, what?
Another common complaint of the Stanley Parable is that there wasn't enough gameplay. And so for the sequel, its developers have gone to great lengths to fix this problem.
Such as
Here we
releasing a
can see
10-minute long
gameplay being
YouTube
printed on
video about
sheets.
literally nothing.
Every video game contains as many as 1,000 sheets of gameplay, and several of the
Sheets
largest
of
games ever
gameplay.
made contain close to 1,500. On mobile devices, the gameplay sheets have to be printed smaller. For the Stanley Parable 2, as many as 35 new gameplay sheets are being printed, each of
What?
which must be delicately massaged by the hands of a child before being added into the
Massaged by
game.
the hands of a
This man
child.
is stealing gameplay sheets from the factory, which he likely intends to use for a personal project he's been developing in his spare time. A good public stoning will cure him of that inclination. Let's check on Gregory real quick. Ha! Still
Public
recovering
stoning.
from a hard day's work. Don't you move a muscle. Next up, it's time to blackmail the press. In a competitive
my
market,
favorite part.
blackmailing your local journalist can be one of the most effective methods of creating word-of-mouth buzz for your sequel. In fact, blackmail is the currency of social progress. From
Blackmail is the
neighborhood
currency
grocer
of
to the
social
teacher at your
progress.
school, to the man who helps you steal HBO, everyone responds to blackmail. And if you've never done it before, it's easy to practice at home on your friends and family. Simply follow the instructional pamphlet that your teacher hands out after the end of the film. And finally, there's one
What?
last tool at our disposal
I'm
for making
in
the
school
sequel
now?
feel
Huh?
fresh and exciting. And that's packaging the game with collector's edition merchandise.
Ah, yes,
If you
collector's
order the
editions.
Stanley Parable 2, you'll receive this cow's egg. A single egg will produce over 1,000 cows, which are, of course, the sequel to pigs. And there you go. Everything there is to know about producing the Stanley Parable 2. Of course, you may know that there is also a game titled The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. So which game is the true sequel to the Stanley Parable? It's an excellent question, Billy. One which the child soldiers have been working round the clock to come up with an answer to. And after many weeks of diligent research, the conclusion they've reached is, who gives a shit? All that matters is that it's more content for you to cram down your insatiable gullet. You don't want thoughtful and nuanced answers to complex questions, Billy. You just want to eat bubble gum and cheat at hopscotch. So get out there and consume. Do your civic duty.
get out there and
bully your
consume.
parents into buying you every version of the Stanley Parable 2 on every platform. Tell your friends to bully their parents as well. It's through community efforts like these that the world comes together, in harmony and connection. And it's only through this connection that we'll defeat Time Dracula once and for all. Don't let the time-traveling vampires win. Buy the Stanley Parable 2 and pledge to support all sequels for today, tomorrow, and into the great unknowable beyond.
Don't let the time-traveling vampires win. Who's Billy? Why did he only live 3 years? Oh, wait. I forgot to look at the website more. That's new. If you're more of a prequel sort of first person, check out the Stanley Parable. Ah, yes, get it on Steam. Sign up for news. Is it on PC? What's gonna happen to my go outside progress? That means your career streak of not playing the Stanley Parable remains untouched when you're playing Ultra Deluxe. You made it to the bottom. Good job. Oh man, that was a real trip. Anyway, let's actually keep playing the video game. I forgot this was a video game, honestly. Please, no screenshots.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one.
Oh, what?
I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Happy 12th birthday.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along.
Oh.
Get Well Someday it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Ah, yes, the jump circle again. Is this... Wait, is this new? Okay. Okay, I can go back. Took a screenshot of the no screenshot sign. Had to. The better question is, which way is the correct way? So that I can look at everything. Oh. At least we can get the achievement, probably. Free achievement. Get it here. It's yours right now. Pull the lever. Receive your new achievement. No more steps. It just works.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will.
Not a wizard, Stanley.
To at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise.
Gamers, we hear you. Pull the lever. No. That's so disappointing. How many players have this achievement? I need to know. You know, maybe this isn't a good indicator, seeing as 2.5% of players have the Super Go Outside achievement, despite the fact this game came out 3 days ago. Yeah, probably not a good indicator. They might have cheated it into existence, I don't know. Including the achievement that you literally can't get.
What else?
Unless you cheat.
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Here's the jump circle again.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already
broken.
spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Collectibles. Sure, let's go. Can you find them? Collect them all. Oh god, not this again.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game.
Wait,
In the Stanley Parable
whoa.
2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's
Oh
truly
my God.
innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Oh my God. This almost looks like some high art piece. You found it.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Oh, that's the exit. Okay. The infinite hole. Yeah, let's go there. That sounds fun. It won't end. Oh. This makes sense. Depth, infinite. Whole, infinity.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right.
Infinite hole.
Falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Oh, that was oddly creepy. It just coming down there. Can I actually go in it? Yeah, let's go.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
But it's infinite. I can fall infinitely. It doesn't matter when I press the G button.
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole.
Oh.
Is it a very, very deep
Interesting.
hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of
that.
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just
Meeting
that
at
you're
2 p.m.
unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on
Every
me.
pause
Maybe
button is a
you're the
Roman number,
problem.
Roman numeral 2.
Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Okay. We leave.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Wait. There's a door over there. Can I go that way? I can't go that way. There's multiple doors. That is annoying. Okay. That's new. I haven't gone up these stairs. Where's the button? You know, how about we do the button before I forget about it? Yeah, we can go with that. Merch. Oh yeah, the bucket as well. Okay, let's hear my name. Let's go. What should just be text to speech
For
or
the Stanley
something?
Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and
Roll to
most
the
obvious
perfect
answer
button.
is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Try it.
I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim.
Yep, there's the
but
Jim.
Of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature.
God,
Just
imagine if
play
your
along.
name actually
I
was
promise
Jim.
you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath.
Immersion to a
clear
whole
your
new
mind,
level.
Forget whoever you are and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Jim.
Yes, you see? What a thrill, what a rush. That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again.
Okay.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Jim.
Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much Jim. I'm putting the Jim button away. Otherwise, soon you'll start to lose all sense of who you actually are.
Jim.
Oh. What if I am Jim, though? Can I press these buttons? No? Okay.
I
Alright.
suppose I could allow only
Bucket.
people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Mood.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it.
Where's the bucket?
I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Bucket.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do
This
believe
is a
the
nice
bucket
bucket,
lends
though.
you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
I'm gonna take the bucket.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
So, like, do I just get to keep this? Because I'd be down for that. Alright, let's go through here. Why not? What is this? Epilogue.
And An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
You heard Jim in the game. I'd rather go back this way. Seems more convenient. Alright, what's through here? A settings world champion. Mostly infinite hull. Free achievement. Huh? I guess that door doesn't open. Alright, let's try the free achievement again, just in case. Maybe this works. Let's find out. Alright, unfortunate. Let's leave then. Alright, I've had my fill. Let's get out of here. We can at least look at the guide. Settings doesn't really do anything. Bucket, epilogue, collectibles, and then the whole office decorations. The map. The button. Alright, I think we're good. Alright, let's get out of here then. This was something.
All right.
What am I looking
at? Have you seen
at?
everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Oh, this is giving me Mirror's Edge vibes all of a sudden. Maybe it's all the white and red. Had to.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is.
Sure.
I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Amazing.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh my god. Oh my, they actually made like a completely new menu. Oh, incredible. I don't know, there's something funny about just hitting exit the game instead of playing it. Is it still gonna be available too? I don't have to do any of that again? I'm assuming it would be. Yep. Here we go. 2. Alright, how deep does this joke go?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened.
The Stanley Parable
that
too.
would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh,
All
man.
of his co-workers were
That's
gone.
an achievement.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Alright, let's try going down from the
Still
stairwell
no one was
thing.
here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more.
Blah, blah, blah.
Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh my god, did they really re-record every line just in case we're holding the bucket? And there are collectibles.
One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to
How
savor
deep does this
each
joke
every
go?
moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fined for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe,
1,
he
2,
thought to himself,
P4.
maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms.
You know,
Am I crazy?
I'm amazed
He
it didn't
asked
make
the
this
bucket.
too
The
red.
bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
You should.
That's strange, Stanley thought.
I don't
Usually
know.
the bucket
Someone
is a
could
source of
update.
guidance and wisdom for me in
Oh my
difficult
God.
times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone
Is this
else's
looping?
bucket, perhaps. How
This
did
is
I end up
looping.
with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who
What-
knows
where
sorts
did the
of
bucket
bizarre
go?
hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket! Could it
Give me the bucket.
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley. Find me. He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity.
I didn't think taking the bucket would actually drastically change things.
He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
Of course it
It
was.
was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
What?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body
I
of a
remember
man
this
who
one.
had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was.
He didn't have a
This
bucket.
man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about.
You know, I love how they
narrator
didn't even
describing
change
all
the
his
pose
actions
of her.
and how
They
everything
just
is
put the bucket
predetermined
in.
and free will is an illusion, and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him.
Yeah, free will is an
Perhaps he
illusion.
didn't
Like,
know
comment, and
he'd
subscribe.
forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella
The
thought,
bucket is the best
and she hugged
character.
her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Yeah, alright. You know, is the sequel's now. Is the chat thing working? Okay then, it is. Ah. Your message in particular didn't show up for some reason. I don't know why.
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Unless
decided
it
to go to the
showed
meeting.
up earlier.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I'm gonna be real.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
I don't think I
Perhaps
went
he
to
wanted
the.
to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah, I don't think I went back.
Truly a room worth admiring.
I can try
Eager
that.
to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Alright, we're going through the elevator. I think I vaguely remember this.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh, hey, here's the
No,
thing
this
from
isn't right
here's
at all. You're
the
not
a higher
supposed to be here
platform.
yet.
That's
This is all
cool.
a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
But I've already had this ending.
Okay. We just have to get back to oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
Oh yeah, I think I
All of his
remember where this
co-workers
is
were
going.
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh man, where'd the bucket go? There was a bucket earlier. The sequel is still paused.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh yeah. This is the one. Aw. I absolutely don't remember which way is the right way. Pretty sure there's only one way to just make this not confusing. Well, there I'm back again.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Alright, restarting again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Alright then. We're going back. Look at this guy still using Windows 95.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind.
Oh.
Not the story.
PT
Okay,
moment.
let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
This is a very interesting hallway.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so.
Nah.
I can't quite recall, but I believe
Story is a
my story
myth.
took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Man. Oh yeah, here we go.
All right, I've got a solution. This time,
Parable
to make sure
2
we don't
adventure
get
line.
lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
What if I don't follow the line? Nah, I'll follow the line.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination
What if you
still
don't
a
follow the...
story?
Oh, you just go in a circle.
Simply by the act of moving
That's
forward,
fun.
are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa.
What?
That got a bit weird.
What are you
back
talking
there.
about?
Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Oh yeah, here's the music. That is nice. Randomly. Monthly ledgers, corporate imbalances, financial records. This is loud music.
Cut the music.
Aw.
Go back and look at that fern.
Wait, what? What? What fern?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the
I
story.
didn't even notice it.
Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Fern. Alright.
Wait, what?
Ah.
We're back at the office? No.
I think this is...
Line.
Is
You
this
do
a
know
new
we're
line?
looking for the Stanley parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Oh.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we
Line,
trusted you,
TM.
after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Oh, they didn't... Oh, they couldn't be 100% committed to the joke.
Stanley, I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be?
I don't know.
Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Okay, so like, what if there's like pirates
No,
and...
not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Alright, so like, what if there's like a pirate and like...
A choice.
Aw.
We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
What?
So starting from the
okay.
right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the
I
answer
don't
is clearly
know.
yes, then by all accounts, the
What does this
door
even
on the
mean?
right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game
Doors led here.
eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree?
What?
I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey. though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you... All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
There's
Stanley
one that I
lifted the
definitely
bucket
want
into
to
his
do
arms,
that I haven't
and a
done
wave
yet.
of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his
So
chest.
basically we have to go back to the blue doors again.
But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Do not jump
Good,
off the cargo
said the bucket.
lift.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose
buckets
not
can
to
talk.
think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked. No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point."
Oh my
Stanley,
god.
how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it.
Is the narrator a bucket?
Misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here.
That's not wrong. The what? What?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Are you telling me there's a different ending
Everything we'll
for
ever need to know
everything,
about what is or is not
whether or
a
not you
bucket?
bring the bucket
Okay,
with you?
let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No. That is not a bucket.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket.
Oh my god.
Not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct.
Huh?
This is a bucket. Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What?
Item Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here.
There's a picture
And
of a
I don't
bucket.
appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing?
Are you
Answer
telling me that a
straight,
bucket
Stanley.
isn't
Do
nothing?
you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Yes.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective.
Same.
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
I don't know, man.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this.
Yes, you are.
I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No, don't do that.
Okay, here we go.
No. Don't kill the buckets.
What happened?
There are people
Is
too.
everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. My God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Figurine
Perhaps he had
Finders
simply
Committee.
missed a memo.
Meeting today in the meeting room. Alright, so we're not gonna take the bucket this time. We're gonna actually try to do what I was gonna try to do before.
This was not the correct way to the meeting
Until I was rudely interrupted by philosophical questions about what is and isn't a bucket.
Just to admire it. The lounge was sublime.
God,
A
what
work
even
of
is
art.
this game?
But eager to get
How
back
am
to
I
business,
surprised by
Stanley took the
anything
first
in
open
this?
door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you forgot. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands?
Mini stands.
What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley
door.
walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating.
Haha, there's the blue door.
Stanley walked through the red door. All right,
Because I looked at
fine,
the-
go ahead, Stanley.
Because I looked at the, like the wiki thing. I was like, wait, there was no blue door.
You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead.
Oh my god, some of the walls are just this blank texture now.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
No, I am dumb, baby.
I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here,
character
based on the
development
data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
What? Okay, are these actual people who played the game? Only worth 3% of players chose the blue door. What? I'm going back in here, I guess.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Oh, this one.
The baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Okay, so like there's an actual ending if you do this for 4 hours. But we're not doing that. I don't know. Let's just let the baby die. That's fine.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the
Why
latter,
not
I don't know
both?
what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh.
Aha!
What?
Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley?
This
What's
is
our
new.
backstory? What is our motivation?
Isn't this
It
Firewatch?
seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man, spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep town.
Yeah, I haven't
For
played
some
this
sort
game.
of
I don't
twisted
understand these
erotic
references.
purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating
I've heard it's
venture
really
into
good,
the
though.
experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even
Talks.
more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
They use the Minecraft open door sound. Incredible. I recognize that sound effect. That is some fire stuff. I don't know, maybe they just changed the games you go through for like copyright reasons.
Oh no. No, 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 it can't be. It is. It's an open world game. Good God.
Jonesy Lake.
Oh, thank goodness.
I
Stanley,
hate
what a
this.
close call. You really
We're
wanted
gonna
off
go to
into that
Fortnite. Where are we dropping,
thing,
boys?
That big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game.
Alright, where we're going now?
With walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Insurmountable wall. Oh my god.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind.
This
Just
isn't
a nice
what I
big
had
box
in
for
mind.
you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stan,
These
if you
are
manage to
indeed
get lost in this
insurmountable
game,
walls.
I will be phenomenally impressed.
Oh man, I haven't played Rocket League in I don't know
so
how
what
long.
exactly do we do here? Let's see.
They
There are
keep
lots of
making
cars here in the
weird
back, but obviously
decisions with
there's
it.
no
Kind of lost
racetrack.
interest.
Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Wow, this game is really annoying. What you can barely move. Okay, I can move now. You know, which team am I even on? Am I on a team? I don't know.
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more... Hold on. What are you doing?
I can go in the hole. What in the hell?
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
I didn't expect this to be another ending. What? Oh, there's some more. More holes. I can barely see anything. What is that? Oh wait, this looks like The Office, kinda. I can barely see. Oh my god. We've fallen into the back rooms. What is that? Are those uni screenshots? I can't tell. It's a little too far away. Yeah, we've ended up at the back rooms. Who would have thought that the entrance to the back rooms was in Rocket League all along? Yeah, these are... I don't know what this is. Is it... Yeah, I don't know what this is. Is this music? What am I looking at? What happened? Where am I?
What he found.
I don't know
If
what I
he
found.
wanted was to be the leading man in his own story. Well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the
What?
confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh,
What?
Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon.
What?
I can wait.
Okay. Oh, huh. Those are papers.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Okay, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna try and do that again, except without, like, falling into the back rooms. There's this one.
Oh, please.
This is
Are you really
quick.
just doing this for the achievement?
Get an
Click
achievement
the
for
door
hitting this 5 times.
Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
almost certainly 50 clicks.
Gotta play cookie clicker now.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Where is it? Where's 417? Ah.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Where'd it go? I can't go that way, because then I'll actually play the game.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
415. 415. 415. 416. 415.
Now, back to door number 437. Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine?
Where's the copy machine? There's a copy machine? This balloon's just chilling in the chair. Where is the copy machine? Aw. Oh, there it is.
All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk. Yes! This is great! You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it! Now the copy machine, do that one again!
You sound so excited.
Finish it off, Stanley! 5 clicks on door 430! Yes! We did
Beautiful.
it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today. Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now. What were you thinking?
Alright, let's actually do that again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door. This was not the correct way
Alright, back to the
meeting
blue
room,
doors.
and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you?
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
No.
Give me a chance.
Give me the blue
Now,
door.
listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here.
Give me a skip button.
Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted
how
to
else
see.
can I entertain you
Help
people?
me here, Stanley.
A
Help
personal
elucidate
game.
these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want?
I don't
to
know,
see?
maybe
Vehicles? Skill trees? Work
ray
with me, you've
tracing,
given
that's
me
how it could be better.
absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now,
3.
tell me about your experience
Shake
with this
things up a
version.
bit.
Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
3 again.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger.
You know what? I'm not
You
even
click
gonna press the
to
button.
move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
Oh my god, there's
Oh, hey, since
test
my game's
textures
so
in the
awful,
back of it
why don't we
too.
play someone else's game? just to ease the pain.
Alright, back to Firewatch
What
then.
do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot. Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is
I
our
don't know,
motivation?
man.
Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower, perhaps for some sort of twisted, erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there. Oh no. No, it can't be.
Open world video game.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley. What a close call.
Unfortunate.
You
We're
really
not
wandered
meant to
off
be
into
free.
That thing, that big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any. Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
Jonesy Lake.
Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Ah, we're in Rocket League again.
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design.
Alright, I want to go back
If
to
you
the
manage
I
get
don't
lost
want to
in
go
this
back to the
game,
back
I will
rooms.
be phenomenally impressed.
Like, I wasn't expecting that to be a split ending.
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's
At least
see.
I'm assuming it was a split
There are lots
ending.
of cars here in the back, but obviously there's
I don't
no
think that's how this
racetrack.
original ending
Okay,
ended.
I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
Hey, move. Yeah, move. Kick the
Are you
ball.
doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on? Stanley, I have a thought. And I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience. I'm going to try it out. Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley,
Well,
I'm like
I
a child in a confectionery shop.
can't,
I simply
get
have to
both of
have
them at
more.
once, you know?
I'm insatiable. More balls!
I'm still trying to get this one. I'm not very good at the game. I never claimed to be good at the game.
Are you enjoying this, Stanley? Are you having fun? Is this a real video game?
I guess this is a video
Well,
game.
I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over. That's right. Your little fun comes to an end.
Oh, no.
This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you. Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you'd like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows? You're an inventive kid. You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
Huh. What's over here? This seems interesting. Oh, am I not allowed to leave? That's disappointing. Are you actually supposed to go out of the... Are you actually supposed to leave the map? Did I just waste 20 minutes doing nothing? Yeah, I think that's what's happening right now. I just wasted...
Hold on. What are you doing?
Oh, you were supposed to do this.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help
Back
you.
into the back rooms we go. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I really don't. I'm just gonna get to the end and then gonna leave. You know? You know. Yeah, I don't know what this is. Am I viewing the code? Is this the meaning of life? I don't know. I'll just get out of here. We've already seen this.
I wonder what he found.
I don't know what I
If what he
found.
wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Ominous. Anyway, that's gonna be all for today. Next time we're just gonna do like everything else in the game. Oh, really? Hey, what was this achievement? Settings world champion. I might actually go for the achievements too. Oh, you can get the 8. You can't jump. Or at least most of the achievements. Alright, anyway, well, next time's probably gonna be the bucket variety hour, pretty much. Anyway, till then, it's been fun. Take care, everyone.